folks in society that they are just totally disgusting. And yet the Bible says we got to love them anyway. There are some mean folk in this world. They say mean things. They do mean things. And here God say, I can't use that against them. I still. There are folks that try to close doors in your face, and he said, you still got to love them as I have. I believe y'all on this train with me today. Well, we got to obey every commandment, every single commandment. Know the wonderful gifts that God promised to the person who obeys him. First, there is the gift of life. Now, some of you, and I want to thank Jason for having me this morning. He used and talked about them folks in the wilderness. Because we do miss the fact that the first thing is that when God got ready to deliver them out of captivity, this is before they got in the desert, God was already looking at what they were going to need in the wilderness. Now, Jason told us, and we sometimes, because we run by it, we think them folk were the same. We use it. I've done it. But from now on, I'm going to be a little more in detail. Because, see, folk can't grow for 40 years and wear toddler clothes. Did y'all miss that? Babies were born in the wilderness. Children went in the wilderness. But this is not Flintstone. They needed some adult clothes while they were in the wilderness. There was no stores in the wilderness. So whatever they needed for 40 years, they had to take it with them. Jason, they ain't getting it. Day one of their wilderness experience had what they needed for their last day in the wilderness. Anybody got it? In other words, your shoes didn't wear out because there were some more shoes in your duffel bag. Everybody had a duffel bag. Let me help you with the duffel bag. The duffel bag was like when I went in the military. They told me to take off the clothes I had when I came on the bus. Gave me a little box, Jason. Said put all of it in the box. I'm going to tell you, I got nervous because besides, you know about this. They put it in the box and they address it to your house. What my folk gonna think when all they saw me leave with these clothes on and not even a body came by but just a box. And in the box the contents were the clothes that I left home with. But I just waited a little while in there because the little box that had the clothes that I had on was being replaced with a duffel bag. Duffel bag, Freddie, was this big. And I could put more in my duffel bag than I put in. Y'all gonna catch it on the way home. When you hang around with God, when you be obedient to God, do all you can while you can. Do the best that you can. He'll move you from a box to a duffel bag. Am I right about it? So it says here that there is the gift of life. This life is not just the life that we live here, but it's in the life that God has prepared for us. The person who places his life into the hands of God is looked after by God. God takes care of the person, guiding and protecting him throughout all life. When it is time for the person to go home to heaven, can't you hear him saying, let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me and my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. Watch this. He says, and I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you can be there also. And then he says that I'm going to come back and receive you unto myself. That where, and I wonder, is there anybody here that want to be where the Lord is, where there is no more crying and no more dying? Second thing is, there is the increase in fruitfulness and in population growth. Common sense tells us that people who obey God's commandments will live longer and healthier lives. The reason why is because stress is a killer. But when you can take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there, anybody know, and will you testify with me, that he is a burden bearer and a heart fixer. He is a mind regulator. The third thing is, there is the gift of an inheritance in the promised land. And if you will obey the Lord, I hear him saying, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have a right to the tree of life. Am I right about it? And they'll be able to enter through the gates in the city, a city that is built on a square. 12 gates. Y'all gonna help me close here. Till the city. Isn't he all right? I'm so glad that I got reservations in the number that no man could number. I can't make the 144,000, but I'm so glad that John kept on looking. He looked and he asked a question. Who are they? And I heard the answer given. Those are they. Y'all won't be in the number, will you? Those are they that bear their burdens in the heat of the day. Sometimes you're going to have to cry sometime. Sometimes you're going to be talked about. Sometimes you're going to have to go down on bending knees. But while you down there on the prayer bone, why don't you look to the hills from whence cometh your help and declare that all, y'all won't help me close. All my help, come on, Ron, help me get out of here. All my help come from the Lord. I wonder, do you know him? Isn't he all right? I can't forget what the Lord has done for me. Been so good, and he's been so kind. Isn't he all right? Have you ever been in trouble and didn't know how you were going to get out? But you called on the name of the Lord. He heard your cry. Pitied your every groan. Isn't he all right? You ever been in the midst of your enemies? Enemies all around you. But you called on the Lord. He heard your cry. Isn't anybody here know that you call on him and call on him right, that he will come to see about you. I don't know how well Trina is this morning in Emory Hospital, but I'm going to call on the Lord for Trina this morning. Lord, I need you to let your healing hand spread over life. You said in your word that you have not because you ask not. Come here, Lord, with your healing power. She can't reach the hem of your garment, but I heard your word say, you can speak the word and it shall be done. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I can't forget where he brought me from. Brought me from a mighty long way. Brought me. You might well be honest. Didn't he bring you? Did he bring you? Did he bring you? He brought me through many dangers, toils, and snares. Oh, he brought me. I never shall forget. He brought me. When my friends turned their back, he brought me. When thought I wasn't gonna make it, he brought me. When I was sad, tears in my eyes, anybody ever had to cry late in the midnight hour? He brought me. I'm so glad got my religion in time, and I shall not forget that Mary baby, my lily of the valley. I'm closing now. My root of David, my counselor, my Prince of Peace. Did he do it? My author and my finisher of my faith. He died. Y'all won't share with me. Maybe y'all forgot that y'all were sinking in sin. Huh? He died till the whole world reeled and rocked. Died, stars fell out the sockets. Died, sun dripped away in blood. Moon dripped away in blood. Sun refused to shine. Died. To the saints in Jerusalem, got out the grave and walked the dusty streets of Jerusalem. Died. But how many of you glad that ain't the end of the story? Early Thursday morning, got up. Did he do it? Got up, stepped out on the ground of resurrection, and he said, all power is in my hand. Heal the sick. Raise the dead. Am I right about it? Comfort those who are lonely. Oh yeah. All power was in his hand. I shall not forget. Do not forget where he brought. You ain't always been where you at. I hope not. I hope not. Don't forget. Don't let our blessing be our damnation. Our folks used to didn't have church shoes, work shoes, and casual shoes. They had a pair of shoes. And those shoes served every occasion. You work on Saturday and clean them up for Sunday. We hadn't always had walk-in closets. We had a nail. I know what I'm talking about. Somebody say behind the door. Didn't need no laundry room because you didn't have a dryer. No washer. Rosales, you don't know nothing about that. That Silas do, not that James. You know a little bit about that? Just a little bit. So you know he done brought us. We had clothes hangers and prayed for a wind. And Mama would say, don't let that evening dew get on them clothes. You better go gather them in. Friends, tell Mr. Mika she don't know nothing about that. Look where he brought us from. We hadn't been always able, Kenny, to stay in motels. So we looked for a cousin or somebody else's cousin. So if we had to travel that way, we could stay overnight. Freddie, you remember when we always have refrigerators and an ice box. Before that, we had smoke houses. I don't remember that. I just seen them. That's what they told me what they did. I believe them. I just want us to be reminded of how God has blessed us. Let me I start to direct this to Bruh, but he may not remember that when it wasn't no vehicles. It was horse and buggy. And not every family could afford a horse and buggy. I know our mothers over here, I know they remember. I used to hear them talk about we didn't go downtown to buy a dress for Sunday, Jason. But they know this big day was coming at the church. And they start saving the flour sacks. Talk to us, Hopkins. Huh? And they made him a dress. Don't forget. Huh? He been good. And God ain't through. God ain't through. And you know the world has, we as black people, the world has worked against us. Who would have ever thought people that's supposed to be of something will act the way they act this past week in Miss Jackson's hearings? That's right. That's right. It's a travesty. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a reminder that Satan is still walking to and fro as a roaring lion. So we have to encourage each other. Our scripture today says that they were right there. There was nothing between them but the river. The Jordan, I believe it was. Am I right? They could go in, continue their journey to their inheritance. But how many of you know you have to be careful of what you leave for folk? That's right. If you haven't taught them how to receive an inheritance. So you got to start teaching them some value before the inheritance get there. Don't forget where you come from. Tell him thank you for where you are. Show him. Give him some proof that, Lord, I thank you. Now watch this, and when you get blessed now, don't forget, he blessed you so you can be a blessing. We're going to put up the sinner's prayer because we want, if there's someone that's walking the street and yet you looking at your phone and you've been listening to us and you know the Lord has been good to you. If you're on the street, if you are, I don't care if you're at the crack house. You can be at the bootlegger's house. You can be at some other house that you don't pay no light bill and your name ain't on anything. Somebody missed that one. But wherever he finds you, how many of you know he can change you? That's the blessed thing. You don't have to come to this house to be saved. When you hear my voice, harden not your heart.